No copyright intended, not trying to offend anyone, not trying to do anything to get my YouTube channel taken away from me. I am watching Teen Nick, and it is Boy Meets World, according to Mega, Go Back in Time. And I am reading also this name. I'm not repeating it for the 5th time. Let's see where I left off. Okay, he didn't ask. That went from this young man as well. So there was no need to remind him of the fact by purposely speaking poorly of him within earshot. Oh, excuse me. You have been fully aware of that much when he enrolled. I really didn't ask for your opinion, he thought, directing his attention to the book and data he'd download to his information terminal. There was a clock displayed on his open terminal? Terminal. Is that like our version of a laptop? Or am I wrong? I mean, this is dated 2050. This is date 2095, so. Oh look, I'm reading something in the future and I'm watching something that's in the past. Actually, 2 things in the past, because the show is from 1997 and then they go back into the past in the show. And this is 2095, so I'm talking about future and past. And it's Animation Wednesday. And it pulled his reading in my mind back to reality. 30 minutes remain until the entrance ceremony. Are you a new student? It's opening time. He logged out of his usual book website and closed his terminal. But as he was about to get up from the bench, a voice came down to him. The first thing that caught his eye was the school uniform skirt, then the white bracelet on her left wrist. It was the latest CAD model, but significantly thinner than the more common types, and with an eye towards fashion, CAD, a casting assistant device. It was also called simply a device or an assistant. In this country, some use them to term broom, which is a addition to being classic magic assist, as well as a shorting of the Japanese word for magic operator. It was an indispensable tool for modern magic technologies, providing action programs for triggering magic in place of more traditional methods and tools such as incarnations, charms, murder, magic cycles, and spell books. INCANTATIONS to use magic property with a single word or phrase hadn't been developed yet, even when using methods and conjuring with one another like charms and magic circles. Actually reciting the spell would take anywhere from 10 seconds to more than a minute. Okay, back to Corey. Salem! Kinda looks like him right now. He even has the red bow. Salem's so cute. And that's Salem from the Teenage Witch. He's so adorable. Salem's so cute. Oh, Salem is adorable. No, why are you not muted? Mute! It wasn't muting. Okay, this book seems extremely long. Like, really long. From 10 seconds to more than a minute, depending on what it was. The CAD synthesized all that for a simple control, SCHEME, that lets you do it in less than a second. You could still perform magic without a CAD, but it had ACCELERATED, the casting process by leaps and bounds to the point where there were VIRTUALL no magic technicians who didn't use them. Even the so-called experts who could cause supernatural pandemonium just by thinking about it tend to sophistify their I can't say this word. I'm not spelling it. It's that word right there. In certain areas, in exchange for the speed and stability offered by the active root system. However, not everyone could use magic just by having a CAD. We only provide the activish program actually executing the magic crowd the ability of the magic check himself. Therefore, CADs were useless to those who couldn't use magic. If you saw someone who had one, it was near certain that they were involved with magic. And if TATSUYA recall, currently the only student permitted to carry their CADs around with them on school ground were those on the student council and members of certain commutes. Thank you, I'll be right over. At her left, BREAST was, of course, an 8-petaled EMBLEL. The swell of her chest that pushed out her blazer didn't enter his mind. He didn't bother to hide his own left BREAST. He wasn't so SERVILE, but that wasn't to say he didn't feel a sense of information. He thought a student council worthy honor student wouldn't want to be so prestige and approaching him. I'm impressed that's the kid with the screen, isn't it? But she apparently didn't share that opinion. She was smiling as though she was enjoying herself, looking at the film screen of the trifle powerful information terminal in his hand. It was then that the young man saw her face at last. When he stood up from the bench, her head was about 70 centimeters below his. He was 175 centimeters tall, so even for a girl, she was on the shorter side. She was the perfect eye level to verify that he was a cursed student. But there was absolutely no condescent in her eyes, only a pure, even innocent admirement. Students as prohibited from carrying visual display terminals inside our school. Unfortunately, that's the type most students use. But you've been using the kind with the screen even before you enrolled here, haven't you? The verbal kind isn't suitable for reading, so anyone tell at a glance that his terminal was something he was experienced with, so he didn't ask any unnecessary questions in return. He replied with what was almost an explanation because he thought being too court would end up disadvantaging his younger sister more than himself. She was the representative of the newly magical students, so there was no doubt she'd be chosen to the student council. His clockless answer, however, only served to deepen his upperclassman's admirement. So you prefer reading to watching videos. You grow more and more unusual by the second. I approach printed materials more than images as well, so I'm rather happy to hear that. They did live in an age where virtual materials were preferred to text, but book lovers were still far from it. Extox. She seemed to... I can't even say that word. Ah, this looks like that's her. This must be his sister, maybe? And him on the cover? I don't know. But looks like she's the main character. I don't know. Since TATSUYA had spent time thinking that the student council president, more than half the seats in the auditorium were already filled by the time he entered. The seating was not generally assigned. Students were free to sit in the front row, the back row, right in the middle, on the side, or wherever else they wanted. Even in modern times, schools followed the old tradition of announcing who was in what class before enter ceremony, then seating the students what class in the school. Though you wouldn't find out what class you were in until you were issued an ID card. Therefore, the room didn't naturally split up by class. There was, however, a clear rule governing the distribution of these students. The front half was for the blooms, the court one students. The students with the 8-petaled EMBLEM on their left breast. I don't know. BREAST. The new students who could enjoy the full curriculum the school had to offer. The real half was for the weeds, the course 2 students. The students with unmarried fabric on the pocket of their left breast. The new students who had been allowed to enroll and who would be treated as substitutes. All the students may have been new freshmen starting school today, but they were evenly split between front and back based on the president of their EMBLEM, regardless of the fact that nobody was forcing to do so. Guess those who feel communicate the strongest are those on the receiving end. That was certainly a kind of wisdom to live by. He didn't feel like daring to go against it, so he found an empty seat near the middle in the back third of the room and sat. He glanced at the clock on the wall. 20 minutes left. Communication was with the audience, so he couldn't. We'll stop there. So I showed you this little cute bunny from Italia, showed you my Russia from Italia, and I showed you J.I. from Kiki's Delivery Service. We were on the air. Now we are off the air. Quacky bubbles. Quack, 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 quack. I hope y'all have a great Animation Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow. Well, later, because I have a guest coming over tomorrow, I think. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Bye for now. And we will continue these books later on. I haven't read them yet. Well, I've read part of this one now. And maybe you'll see these guys again. Maybe not. We will see. Have a great Animation Wednesday. Bye.